Hey, do you remember the words from St. Matthew? How much are you going to profit if you gain the whole world but you lose your life? These words were not heeded either by today's saint. You know who it is? St. Francis Xavier. He was 24, sort of a wild and crazy guy living in Paris. But those words came from a good friend whose name was Ignatius of Loyola, and finally persuaded Francis to change his life. Then he made the spiritual exercises under the direction of St. Ignatius and joined his little community, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits. So together, at Montmartre in Paris, they vowed poverty, chastity, and obedience, and apostolic service according to the will of the Pope. So from Venice, where he was ordained in 1537, he went to Lisbon, and from there to the East Indies, landing at Goa on the west coast of India. For the next 10 years, he labored there to bring faith to such widely scattered peoples as the Hindus, Malayans, and Japanese. But he spent a lot of time in India and served as provincial of the newly established Jesuit province there. Wherever he went, he lived with the poorest people, sharing their food and in rough accommodations. He spent countless hours ministering to the sick and the poor, especially to lepers. Very often he had no time to sleep or even say his breviary. But we know that he was always filled with joy. He went through the islands of Malaysia, then up to Japan, learning enough Japanese to preach to simple folk. From Japan he had dreams of going to China, but he never made it there. Before reaching the mainland he died. His remains were enshrined in the Church of Good Jesus in Goa. He and St. Teresa of Lisieux were declared co-patrons of the missions in 1925. St. Francis Xavier, another saint with the name of Francis, God bless him, living purely for the glorification and adoration of the Most Holy and Blessed Trinity, which is the way we must live. Did you know that? That's the meaning of life, the adoration, perpetual adoration of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.